Welcome back. The Nigerian Navy in Port Harcourt, River State, has continued to destroy illegal refineries in parts of the Niger Delta. However, the method of destruction through burning and activities of the operators of these illegal sites have been identified by the River State Government Task Force on Black Suit as part of the cause of its persistence. Our correspondent Emmanuel Irei explains.
A swamp boogie crushing everything in sight in an illegal refining site in Iwofe area of River State. This, according to the Navy, is one of the over 40 illegal refining sites destroyed by men and officers of the Nigerian Navy shipyard Pathfinder in recent operations. And following the emergence of black soot deposits in Port Harcourt, the River State Government Task Force on Soot, led by the Commissioner of Environment, is here to witness the destruction of this illegal refinery.
What we are saying is that this air that we are breathing, this soot that we are breathing, is not very good for us, for our health. And we know that everybody has been complaining, but what we are saying now is that if you have those who are involved in this illegal bunkering, all you do is just tell them that it's not the best for us because it is, affecting our health derogatorily.
For the commander, this operation is part of efforts to stamp out the activities of suspected oil thieves from the Niger Delta.
To ensure that we degrade maximally the effort of these illegal bunkerers in our area of operation. And this will continue to sustain until we bring this menace to a stop. We believe that this nation, Nigeria, belongs to all of us, and there are legitimate business that we must ensure that strive. The prosperity of this nation cannot be compromised to certain individuals who will not renege, despite the effort we are putting in place, will not renege in holding back the hand of government.
As the Nigerian Navy continues to destroy illegal refineries in the Niger Delta, the use of more methods with less impact on the environment is encouraged, especially as many wait for the federal government to come up with the blueprint for modular refineries in the region. Emmanuel Irei, Channels Television News.
Staying with crime fighters, some suspected fraudsters who specialize in cloning phone numbers of ministers, politicians and aides to President Muhammadu Buhari have been apprehended by the police in Abuja. The police say 14 phones with SIM cards allegedly registered with names of top government officials were reportedly recovered from the suspects. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the Force Public Relations Officer, Mr. Jimo Mwashood, explained that operatives of the Inspector General of Police trailed the syndicate to a hotel in Kaduna after receiving complaints from some of their victims.
The intelligence response team of the IGP cracked and arrested these notorious suspected criminals who posed as Chief of Staff to the President, Senate President, National Security Advisor to Mr. President. They equally posed as Minister of Petroleum, and at different times they posed as Minister of Finance. They equally present themselves oftentimes as Minister of Transport, and also present themselves oftentimes equally as Chief Bola Tinubu, and many other prominent Nigerians' names were being used by the fraudsters to defraud people.
Let's check in on the day's major business stories. Here's Anne Wawodo.
Thanks a lot, Amarachi. Welcome to Business News. Officials of the Central Bank of Nigeria have refuted claims by some commercial banks alleging insufficient supply of foreign exchange to them by the Apex Bank. CBN spokesperson Mr. Isaac Okorafor, while addressing journalists today in Abuja, dismissed the claim, saying that the CBN has sold over $80 million to the banks for onward sale to customers.
We at the Central Bank of Nigeria have received complaints from bank customers that some banks are not selling foreign exchange to them for purposes of business travel allowance personal travel allowance, tuition fees, and medical fees. And that the banks claim that the Central Bank of Nigeria is not supplying enough foreign exchange to them for these purposes. I want to state categorically that this claim is untrue and that banks have more than enough foreign exchange in their possession for sale to members of the public for these purposes.
NIPCO Investments, a subsidiary of NIPCO PLC, has completed the acquisition of 60% majority stake of ExxonMobil in Mobil Oil Nigeria via the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The deal is worth over 90 billion naira. The acquisition, which is one of the biggest in Nigeria's downstream sector in recent years, is expected to serve as a significant breakthrough and strengthen investors' confidence in Nigeria's oil sector. The deal, which has the backing of the Securities and Exchange Commission and the NSE, was done at 417 naira 12 kobo per share, a 40% premium to the current 300 naira per share in which Mobil presently trades on the NSE. The equities market ended the week, the month, and of course the first quarter of the year in the red on the back of sell-offs from some of the leading stocks on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Bisi Adebayo has the details.
Trading on the NSE ends the last trading day for the month, and indeed the first quarter down by 0.07% after hitting its second biggest rally in March on Thursday. Friday's session saw a total of 593.86 million shares worth over 94.26 billion naira traded on the day that NIPCO announced a 60% acquisition of Mobil's shares, which has also pushed it to the top of the activity chart. Although the price gainers outweighed the losers by 19 against 17, the decliners had the upper hand as profit-taking drove the shares of May & Baker, Livestock Feeds and Unity Bank to lead in percentage value on that category. And that's it on the stock market reports. I am Bisi Adebayo.
Thank you, BC. While at the start of trading today, U.S. stocks were set to close the first quarter of 2017 solidly in the green. But let's hear from VOA Channel CV business correspondent Jill Malandrino.
Marks the end of the week, month, and the first quarter of 2017. Historic time in the U.S. and around the world, to say the least. Let's take a look at the major averages for the month of March coming into today's trade. The NASDAQ Composite is set to log the best performance of the major U.S. indices in March, a 1.5% rise with one more session to complete. The S&P 500 is looking to a modest advance of 0.2%, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average is set to lose around 0.5% for the month. For the first quarter, the stats are equally impressive, with the NASDAQ on track to deliver the best return of the three main indexes, with a nearly 10% gain as of Thursday's close. The S&P 500 is eyeing a 5.8% rise, while the Dow is poised to add nearly 5%. Now, if the Dow were to be green for the quarter, which it will be its sixth straight positive quarter and the longest winning streak since the fourth quarter of 2006. Now, the uptrend this quarter has largely been attributed to President Donald Trump's promises to cut taxes, deregulation, and infrastructure. While there have been numerous signed executive orders, new policy has yet to actually go through, so traders are going to continue to focus on what is happening out of Washington, D.C. and the general news cycle. Another reason stocks have enjoyed a nice run is economic data has been quite strong and earnings quality is slowly starting to improve. We shall see if the run-up in stocks is justified when first quarter earnings season kicks off in just a couple of weeks. From the NASDAQ market site in New York, I'm Jill Malandrino, and this is VOA Channel's Business News.
Thanks, Joe. We'll see how that plays out. But European stocks closed the final trading session in the month of March with mixed sentiment as investors react to the new EU negotiating guidelines for Brexit and the cabinet reshuffle in South Africa. Let's check out the numbers. Thanks a lot for watching Business News tonight. I'm Anne Nwaodo. It's back to you, Amarachi.
And British Deputy High Commissioner to Nigeria, Laurie Bufis, has commended the Ogun State government for initiating the right policies and programs on ease of doing business in the state. She says the state has attracted over 65% of all foreign direct investments into the country in 2015. The Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Mr. Bimbo Ashiru, seized the occasion to assure investors of better days ahead.
Ever since its creation, Ogun State in southwest Nigeria prides itself as an emerging economy, offering countless opportunities to its people, provided the right policies are in place. Presently, the state government says in its bid to making Ogun an investment destination of choice, focus is now on infrastructure development, security, among other things. This has made the state to rank 5th on the ease of doing business in the country by the World Bank in the 2014 ratings.
The feat achieved by the state would not have been possible if not for the commitment of this administration towards improving the ease of doing business. Similarly, the administration's commitment to excellence and continuous improvement through regular consultations with key stakeholders and collaboration of relevant government agencies with private sector that has helped the state improve significantly on all areas necessary.
Chief Economist of PricewaterhouseCoopers PwC Nigeria gives an advice to the Nigerian economy and says it has to be grown at 46% rate and investment of $100 billion annually.
We need to grow, the Nigerian economy needs to grow 4 to 6% a year to make any progress. If we're not growing at 4 to 6% a year with our population growth, we're going to have a social catastrophe. So then you ask the question, well, how do you grow? How do you grow 4 to 6%? There's obviously lots of elements of it. The ease of doing business plays into this. But just mathematically, we have a $350 billion economy.
Giving an assessment of the policies of government in terms of cost and ease of doing business in the state, the British Deputy High Commissioner says that 75% foreign direct investment was attracted to the state in 2015.
We're seeing the result. We're seeing large multinational companies setting up shop here in Ogun. We're starting to see the benefits in terms of jobs. More can be done. Undoubtedly more can be done. Roads are still not as good as they can or should be, and more can be done to attract small and medium enterprises in particular, because we need them and their know-how and their expertise and the partnerships that they can create in order to deliver the sort of growth and jobs that we are looking for.
The state government will do well to ensure that its achievements, especially in the area of industrialization, are sustained, even as economic observers call for more investment in power to ease doing business, not just in Ogun State, but the country as a whole.